Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Ramadan Daily Dose. The next companion that was promised paradise by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Sa'id ibn Zayd radiyallahu anhu. Sa'id ibn Zayd, he was 19 years old when he accepted Islam, a young man. And he accepted Islam at an early time when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam just received revelation. So he, subhanAllah, got to be around the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from that time early onwards. And he married the sister of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, Fatima bint al-Khattab radiallahu anha. He married her, that was his wife, and he was known for this one great characteristic, and that characteristic was his service. He loved to serve others, he loved to serve his community. He found joy and love in struggling, in doing the dirty work, in being the person in the battlefield, being the person who's feeding the homeless. Jobs that most people didn't really want to do, he found happiness in that, and he loved to serve others. He had a reputation in battle that he would be the first person to march and charge towards the enemy. He was, he had so much zeal and passion, subhanAllah, and so much courage that he'd be the first person who's chasing the enemy and facing them head on. And that takes a lot of courage because the Muslims, oftentimes, they were outnumbered, greatly outnumbered, 3-1, 4-1, sometimes even more. So you can really see how courageous he was. Later on, when Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was the caliph, the emir of the mu'mineen, he appointed Sa'id ibn Zayd as the governor of Ash-Sham, of Damascus. And over there, Sa'id had, gardens, he lived in a palace, he had, all of this luxurious life. He had guards and what have you. And subhanAllah, that just wasn't who he was. He was not used to that. He was used to doing the tough work. He was used to being in a battlefield. He was used to doing all of these things. And he didn't really like the life of luxury. So he wrote a letter to Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Caliph, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, and he told him, I can't just sit here seeing you guys struggle while I live this life of luxury in this palace. I am coming back. And by the time you get this letter, I'm probably going to be on my way back. So please send somebody else who is more befitting for this position. He wanted to be of service to others. Even though there's nothing wrong with sitting there and delegating orders, he wanted to be the person who's doing the work doing the work in the field. And that's something we can learn from him. That there's benefit and there is prosperity and happiness in serving others, and being the person who's feeding the poor, being the person who's giving charity, who's cleaning the masajid or anywhere. Being that person, there's so much barakah and blessings in it. In fact, when he passed away, it was shortly after Salat al-Fajr. He prayed in the masjid, came back home, took a nap, and passed away in his sleep. When the Sahaba, the companions, were preparing his body for the burial process, they noticed that there was this smell, this beautiful smell, this fragrant smell coming out of his body. And usually they would put perfume or some other nice fragrant smell on the corpse, but they didn't have to because he really smelled amazing. And that was a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted his service, the service that he has provided the rest of creation. And that's how he served his creator. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the correct intention to serve others and to not shy away from these jobs that we may see as dirty or tough. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be from those who love to do those jobs, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our service. The next companion that we'll be talking about, the last and 10th final promised companion, the companion who was promised paradise, is one who was named Amin al-Ummah, the one who is the trustworthy of this ummah. So stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.